Practices have come and gone, and the Senior Bowl game is tomorrow, but I want to go back and reflect on who has really done the most for their draft stock this week. Who deserves the title of Riser? And what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content as always. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that nice, beautiful football discourse. Special thanks to today's sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. When you sign up with promo code Broshmo, then Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. So remember, sign up with promo code Broshmo, and as always, bet responsibly, my friends. Hey, I will have a mock draft out for you later today, and it's a doozy. I had some fun with this one, but let's go ahead and get into this sucker with Adetomiwa Adebawore. There we go. Adetomiwa Adebawore. But he's 6'1", 284, and I think he's done, probably for me at least, I think he's done the most for his stock. Him and Keanu Benton. And I try with these videos, I want to touch up on different guys than I did the days before. So you're going to hear some different names here. But Adebawore really looked amazing as a pass rusher. He really did. He showed some very nice pass rushing moves, and he plays with incredible length. This is a 6'1" guy, and you're typically thinking short arms, but no, he comes in there with 34-inch arms. Love it. And you know what? On top of that, I didn't think he was gonna hang too well inside on rundowns, but he showed better, like, overall better strength and better get after than you would expect for an undersized guy in run fits. So I really think he did a ton for his stock for a guy who worked basically inside and out for Northwestern this past year. 31 pressures, 6 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. So he had a really impressive showing. I'm probably going to now move him over to my defensive interior list instead of, because I had him on my edge rankings. And I would say he's going to be close to top 50. I don't know. I'm going to wait to do all my my new prospect rankings, new big board, till after the Senior Bowl game. But I thought he really came away just looking really good. And we're going to stick with the trenches with Asim Richards out of North Carolina. Now, I firmly believe this cat is probably still a third rounder, but man, he worked guard earlier in the week. Just didn't look terrible, but didn't look great. And they move him back to tackle for the whole day, really. And I thought he looked really impressive. He really did. He showed some nice quick hands, and he shut down Andre Carter twice during the run drills. I believe one of those was on a run fit, but still, man, I came away really impressed. He was playing both right and left tackle. So if you get to day 3 and you still need some tackle help, I think he'd be a good cat to pick up at 6'4", 307. He came in measuring specifically with 34 and 1/8 inch arms, 10-inch hands, so good measurements there. He had honestly a solid season, given for how many pass snaps they had with Drake May really throwing the ball a ton. Like, I thought he was actually exceptionally pretty solid. So definitely a name to consider going on day 3. I still want to maintain in the trenches because I haven't really talked about Steve Avila this whole freaking week, and I think he has risen a lot. He went from this probably cat I had in the 70s to 90s range to probably a lot closer to the top 50, maybe top 60. But the dude was great. 6'3", 332, and he was just exceptionally stout. And he showed quickness out of his stance, quickness to get his hand set, his anchor set, and presented an extremely wide base, and he was just tough to get around. I absolutely think he did not lose one set. At least he definitely didn't lose one today. I'm trying to remember if he lost a set or any reps this week. I really can't recall any losses from him. I came away super impressed, and I thought he did a ton to really help out his draft stock to make this interior class on the offensive side of the football look a bit better. And then we're going to be talking about Darius Rush. Now, Darius Rush, I didn't really love his tape. admittedly, coming into this, I think I had him as like a late day 3 to UDFA. Like the tape was kind of whatever, but he was one of the most shut down guys here at the Senior Bowl. Like I think he ended the week with the most forced incompletions on one-on-one drills and through the team drills. So I came away really impressed. This guy with a nose for the football, 6 pass breakups, 2 interceptions this past year, good size at 6'1", 196. Like, holy moly, man! Like, watch out, like legit, like watch out for this cat. I don't think he got into the day 2 discussion for me. Some people are probably going to be higher on him than I am. It's just, man, that tape for me, it was still kind of wishy-washy, but really, man, here he looked really good. He especially in the red zone, he had a nice pass breakup, jumping a route in red zone drills. But I think he's probably in the early day 3 discussion. I thought he looked pretty solid this week, but still a guy that I just don't love the film on, but I thought I should address because I know some other people out there were exceptionally high on him, and he really did have a good week, but I do weigh that film into consideration. All right, it's going to stick with the secondary with Sidney Brown. I really haven't talked about Sidney Brown this week. 5'10", 213, by far the best safety here. This guy was flying all over the field. Legitimately, and I always say this, he's like a bowling ball shot out of a cannon. Probably his worst rep of the day was forcing Josh Wiley out of bounds and kind of eating it. Like, Wiley just kind of like put the shoulder down, and it was like cartoonish. Like Brown kind of like it's like when you like see cartoon characters hit a like a street light. Just it was kind of like that. It was a little cartoonish, but like again, outside that, I mean, he forced them out of bounds. He got the job done. Like rep for rep, this guy was amazing this week. He's shown, despite the length, that he could be very disruptive at the catch point. 6 pass breakups, 6 interceptions this past season. I think he's firmly one of the top 5 safeties in this class. I think you're gonna hear this guy's name somewhere early to mid day 2. Big fan of him. All right, next here we got Ivan Pace out of Cincy, 5'10", 231, and he honestly did his damage on pass protection drills against running backs. Running backs could not hold him, and I thought he looked good in the team drills when kind of coming as an extra blitzer. Like, this guy knows how to get after the quarterback. He really does, as you can tell. Like 55 pressures and 12 sacks this past season. He just knows how to get there. He really does. He's like a pit bull, a miniature pit bull, because that's the kind of thing. Like, you look at all those tackles and you're like, man, this guy's just always around the football. And yeah, that's true. I like his. He's got decent movement skills. Unfortunately, it's just he just doesn't measure out well at an NFL level. He really doesn't. 5'10", 231. Came in with close to 31-inch arms, so actually not bad. But I mean, most linebackers here are working with 32, 33-inch arms. And I think if you have a role in mind for him, if you're like, we see a sub-package blitz guy here, then you're going to value him higher. Like, I'm going to keep him in that early day 3 area, probably top 150, because like I really can see him being exceptionally successful at a blitzing type role. It's just, again, doesn't really have the body, I think, or the length to kind of be that difference maker in the passing game, or even maybe necessarily as a run defender, because he has to navigate traffic. He can't I don't think he could take on blocks. One of my things with him coming in was, if he does get stuck on a block, he's usually dead in the water. He doesn't have a lot of creativity, or doesn't really show the ability to disengage from blockers at will. So a guy that had a very productive college career, and I think there is a good role for him in the NFL if a team decides to use him in the correct manner. And then I have Zach Pickens here. I thought he did an exceptional job this whole week, including today, coming in at 6'3", 300 pounds. And consistency was kind of the thing with Zach Pickens. his tape over like the last 2 to 3 seasons. We've seen him on the high end play of him because he's got good athleticism. I think he does a very good job at turning that explosiveness into power, and he's always had a great motor. It's just the high end reps were few and far between, but some of the most beautiful high end reps you will ever see. That's the thing, as you could tell, the production was always great for him there at South Carolina. But this week, man, he really was consistent. Like, he looked strong, he looked explosive, he kept it up. He had the great back and forth with John Michael Schmitz, who's gonna be probably a very early day 2 guy. He had a nice play in the 9-on-7 drills where he was just blew the play up in the backfield. He showed a nice power rush against Nick Saldivari, the Old Dominion tackle, but he was playing center at this point. That's a guy that I'm not going to touch up on here, but I thought he did a good job of helping his stock. He's probably going to be an interior guy at the next level, and I kind of like him at the center position. I thought he had his up and downs throughout the week, but ultimately I came away, I was like, no, this guy can totally be an NFL player. I think he's a guy that you can put time in trying to develop, and he could end up being a very good interior player. But enough about him, man. Pickens was excellent, phenomenal. I think if he sneaks into day 2, won't surprise me. Probably will still have him like in the 4th round area, though. And then I got Yaya Diaby out of Louisville. I'm gonna be legit with y'all. I had him as a midday 3. Like, I knew he was very productive, but he was an older prospect, and I was kind of curious, how he measure out at. He didn't always have he didn't seem like the most explosive first step guy, but like he kind of turned that on its head this week, and I think ends up being a day 2 guy. Like, legit, he really impressed me. So 6'3", 264. He ended up measuring with 34-inch arms. And again, one of the older guys. He's going to be 24 by the time the NFL season starts. And he looked twitched up. He had some sick outside to inside moves. He had some of the blockers, like, feet just tangled up. Like, he looked so impressive. He really, really did. Now, when he does get to the backfield, he does get a bit out of control, but he's disruptive. He really was. It was a great week I think a great week for him. I'm gonna look down specifically what I had here to say about him as had some nasty moves, looked twitched up, and was consistently getting into the backfield. Like, he looked really good. Like, yeah, I don't know what more to say. I had his teammate Yasir Abdullah ahead of him, but I think he kind of flipped that narrative for me on its head, man. I can't wait to see him during the game. The game's going to be really fun. Again, trench warfare is going to be a thing to behold. It was this week, and we all, at least most of us, expected it to be so, but I can't wait till that game. All right, and then next on the list is Payne Durham, tight end out of Purdue. I think he had probably outside of Luke Musgrave, probably had the best practices of the tight end. 6'5", 258, man. He really showed off those receiving skills. He had a nice catch over the middle. I think it was Hayner that threw it to him. I'm not positive, though. I'm pretty positive, though, it was Hayner. But nice throw over the middle where he extends. Like, I like how he high points the football. He's got very soft hands. Just, he had a really good day 3. And we should really talk about him when we get to that next tier, that third tier of tight ends. Because you got Michael Mayer, and then I think you have this group that's like, you got your Luke Musgrave, your Dalton Kincaid, Darnell Washington, Tucker Kraft. You could throw Sam Laporta kind of at the back end of those guys. But that's kind of the next tier. And then the tier after that, you look at, okay, like Davis Allen, very good blocker and better than you would expect athlete. Honestly, I was surprised a lot by his athleticism. Josh Wiley, who had a very solid week, showed very good hands, willingness to attack the catch point, good hops, and honestly, Bray Willis really looked good this week too. But like, I probably came away like, we got to put Payne Durham in that like early day 3 conversation. Like, he did look solid. I think he's got a good frame that where he could like, he's always been an okay blocker, but I think he could definitely build off of that. So like, yeah, Payne, man, I thought he was a riser for me. And then last but not least, I want to talk about the quarterbacks, and Jake Haener, I think, looked the best out of any of the quarterbacks this week, but that's not saying much. Firmly, these are all day 3 guys. But it was easy to see Jake Haener outclassed Jaron Hall and Malik Cunningham on the national team. Haener was throwing dots all over the field, showed some good ball placement. He had a very nice throw on day 2 to Davis Allen over the middle in 7-on-7s. And then on full team drills, he had that other one again for Payne Durham. And look into the other, like, I honestly thought he was better than the guys on the American team as well, as Clayton Tune didn't really look the part for me this week, which breaks my heart. I still think he's probably a better prospect than Tyson Bagent, but like, Bagent was just never comfortable. Like, he probably had the most zip of any guy this week, but like, his passes were a bit inaccurate this week, and he had trouble calling plays. It was really Max Duggan that kind of like looked the best out of the American team, especially when they got to scrimmages. Like, he would take command of the offense and have them driving. Like, he just kind of had a special intangible to him. But still, I came away, Jake Haener was the best thrower of the football this week. He really was. The dude's just a gamer. He was like that at Fresno State. Some people probably came away maybe with a bit higher expectations with Haener. I really didn't have those expectations. I came in thinking, okay, it's gonna be Tune, it's gonna be Haener, and probably Hall, because like, Hall has a decent arm, but like, he was very inconsistent this week. But yeah, no, Haener really, I think, separated himself from the other quarterbacks here. I'm probably going to end up moving him up more to like a mid-day 3, 5th round, 6th round type of grade. 6 foot, 208. Doesn't have like a big arm, but I think it's an NFL arm. Doesn't have ideal size, but I think it's fine. I think a lot of people like the Taylor Heineke comp for him. I don't think he's as reckless or gunslinger with the football as Heineke, but again, I mean, I get it when you talk about the size comparison. It makes sense, and he kind of has the same gravitas, the same moxie as a guy like Heineke. But yeah, no, Haener, best quarterback out of this week, but it was kind of a low bar to begin with. And I mean, to be fair, I think probably Haener had the better receiving group to really work with. As guy like Max Duggan and company, they lost Tank Dell on day 3, and you could tell like those receivers really struggled to get separation. So he was having to kind of throw receivers open, which is fine. That or kind of scrambling on scrimmage plays and try to extend the play as receivers broke away. Because I mean, hey man, you can't expect corners to cover guys for 5-7 seconds. And you know what, coaches kept plays running when guys were sacked, so to speak, but then they would call it a sack. But yeah, no, I mean, y'all know how practice works. I don't know why I'm explaining it to y'all, but yeah, overall, thought I'd mention Haener, at least mention the quarterback position whatsoever. Next week, I will come around with my actual risers and fallers. I want to do that after the game. We will be doing a watch along of the game on Saturday, so hope to see you there. It's going to be a blast. And as always, till next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.